Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Games XP Championship Season 4, Week 8 matchup between Schism Esports and Red Dusk Esports. However, that is only the first of two matchups this evening. It's a doubleheader tonight. Gonna be a long one, gonna be a fun one. My name is Hickory. Sitting next to me, just to my right, is my good pal Skyson. How are you doing tonight?
Ooh, I'm doing good. Looking forward to tonight. We've definitely got two great matches, and I have been looking forward to the Schism Red Dust match for quite a while. I believe we've known about it for probably a week here. It's looking to be hot.
It should be a good matchup. Let me check what their standings are. I believe that they're pretty close in the matches right now. Probably should have done this earlier, but
got those myself. Give me 1 second. We've got Schism sitting at third, I believe. Ooh, what's up? Schism is sitting at third at 9-4. Red Dusk is sitting at 6 and 7.
Those are still actually surprisingly close numbers, even though it sounds like they're really far between third and sixth. That's not a lot of games, and that's still both in playoff contention, right?
Absolutely, and it's definitely worth noting that while Schism was on a tear the last 2 weeks, their last 4 games were all wins, all 2-0 wins as well. Red Dusk, you can't take away their most recent game was, of course, the 2-1 win over White Lotus. So they are definitely coming off of whatever anyone would call a hot streak of one game.
I mean, both teams have a lot of momentum coming into this. Speaking of momentum, things are going to be a little bit slow working in because we do have pro draft, just to make sure everyone has no unfair advantages, rather. Couple of quick things as we get in. Graves and Kane for Schism banned out. Zaya and Alistar for Red Dust Esports. Are there any particular bans that either of these teams need to pick out in the regards of like a pocket pick or something like that?
I think we definitely want to look at taking away probably the Kane. I Smell a Pig has definitely had lots of good performances on the Kane, and if that goes away, that's definitely a good boon because the KDA Smell a Pig duo has really done a lot of work there in their past games, even in the games that they've fallen behind. Getting KTA ahead of Pig on the early aggressive jungle has really been in his favor. Other than that, I think we may see the Akali ban come through for KTA. It's been one that's been put against him by a lot of teams they've played against. As for the other side, I don't know that any are going to... Maybe the Galio ban against Stevenator for looking to take that away from the mid lane. I know he's had a lot of good performances on Galio.
Galio sounds actually kind of interesting. See him a lot, but I'm actually kind of like Zillion, who's banned out. I feel like he needs certain stipulations among the other team. Or, I mean, the rest of his team, rather. Like in Galio's maybe like a Camille, for instance, whereas Zillion, we've seen a lot of, Kindred with him a lot. But the first pick is actually Kaisa for Carmini. And the Ashe actually into that. I've been seeing a lot of Varus Ashe. Tell me about Kaisa Ashe, though.
Kaisa Ashe. See, Kaisa is a very overwhelmingly strong champion through most phases of the game, and she definitely brings a lot to the table for no matter what composition you kind of want to pick up or want to draft her into, she will always do her job. While Ashe is a very, very more focused champion that definitely gives you access to, of course, the ultimate. She gives you a little bit of initiate, which is different from a lot of other AD carries who look to have the action started for them and then find their way into the fight and say, by the way, while you're dealing with these threats, you have me. Ashe is really able to say, hey, I found the situation. I'm going to add an arrow to it. Let's go into it. So she sort of brings that self-fulfilling initiate as well as a very surprising amount of DPS off of her Q. So if she's able to get protected in these fights and stay alive and just kind of kite back on top of target, she can really put out a lot of damage in these fights.
Well, so far the only thing with her is a Zyra. We're going to have to see how her protection comes out. The Scion for the side of Maverick. Have seen him play a ton of tanks. Pretty happy to see him keep it up. I think it actually was a Scion game that I saw him just utterly smash on recently. I want to say versus NFG. That sounds right, but I could be making it up. Another spellcaster in the bot lane. 2 enchantresses as Soraka comes up for Kaisa. Not a matchup I've seen in a very, very long time, I feel like. But the Hecarim's the last pick in the first rotation. That's pretty interesting. How have you been seeing that?
Hecarim. I haven't seen a lot of Hecarim. I know I kind of expected the Soraka pick for Backpack. Backpack's definitely put, I believe this is like his 4th game of Soraka, if not 5th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's definitely been, I believe, the only person in this whole league that picks Soraka. It's very interesting to see how it works out for Carmony. It really gives Carmony the edge to, get in more of these aggressive trades. And as long as Carmony is not really in danger, or as long as Backpack's not in danger, Backpack will usually have the health to keep him sustained up in these fights. And especially against the Ashe Zyra lane, who definitely is notorious in lane for being one of the most heavy, aggressive poke lanes. You have to deal with Zyra plant damage on top of constant Ashe volleys, and if you get slowed or snared, then you're just suddenly taking so much damage from so far away that it's really a lot to get through. So picking Soraka to sustain through that lane really is designed to give Carmony an edge there for at least surviving through the lane phase, and if not, trying to scale up.
So outside of the bottom lane, I have seen a few Hecarims, and I do have an interesting little factlet, but I want to see how it plays out. We'll see if we get there or not. But I do want to mention a couple bans, though. Orianna in the mid lane, Gragas as kind of either the jungle support, and a Victor and Zed both banned out against KT. I think that was Victor, right? Yes, it was confirmed to be Victor banned against KT. Lots of bans for the mid lane and the jungler duo of RDE. In fact, no bans for the rest of the map at all.
Yeah, I was saying, because Cheesecake, of course, is a very recent addition, I believe, to the RDE roster. I believe he's played 1 week now, so they don't have as much information on him and really what he's contributed to the team. He did contribute a lot to their win that they had last week, but KDA and I Smell a Pig has been a very, very sort of a power couple in the mid jungle. Their duo has been very strong and has proven very efficient over the times of the game. So targeting them and taking them out is putting a lot of pressure on the early power from Red Dusk.
Well, before anyone gets really excited for Red Dusk, that is actually a Maokai. It is not a Vayne. Unfortunately, 2 issues in a row with the pro draft. It is not, on the party or the actual first party Riot-based thing, but that is a Maokai, not a Vayne. Probably Maokai in the top lane. Rammus picked up. Okay.
That's about how I feel about it as well.
Gonna have to see what the mid lane is as the final pick for Schism, and probably the final pick for RDE as well. Kind of decent mix of the tanks and the damage and the support from Soraka and a Swain. Kind of actually in between.
Yeah, I would not have been surprised to see the Galio there, but seeing the Swain there, they've definitely built sort of the idea you wanted to go with around the Vayne, and it's interesting. You have definitely a gigantic front line now sitting for this Kai'Sa, but on the other side of RD, you sort of have the opposite idea where instead of throwing a lot of bulky tanks at you of sort of a barricade, you now have multiple damage threats. You have the Hecarim, you have the Akali, so while you're trying to get back to this Ashe and pick her off, it's less of trying to get through a front line as trying to make sure your important people don't die to the assassins.
Well, you had mentioned the Akali, and it was instantly picked. No, not even a thought about it. There was about 1 second when it was picked up. And it is a big front line. I mean, Swain, he is a surprisingly tanky mage that also has a surprising amount of damage in him. But Hecarim, Akali, and even Maokai can really get a lot farther than sometimes you might feel like, especially when this is a pretty protect the Kog'Maw-esque composition when it comes to the Kai'Sa with the The one thing I did want to mention, I'm just going to do it anyway, is that Hecarim is a counter pick to Aatrox in the top lane. And he was picked twice in the gauntlet by Licorice into Haunter and kind of utterly obliterated him. So I was really hoping something kind of sneaky would come out with the Hecarim top. Not that obviously it's not an Aatrox matchup, but I thought my fun little information would be worth it. But clearly not. So we do have a kind of protect the carry composition coming out of Schism, minus the Swain kind of being able to switch back and forth between damage and tankiness. How do you feel about their draft as a whole with the Sion, Rammus, Swain, Kai'Sa, Soraka?
It's interesting because I like the ability for Schism to be able to work around this carry on Kai'Sa. Carmony has definitely proven himself several times. He's performed as one of the top ADs in this league. So building a team around him is very interesting. And at the same time, it's while you have sort of the damage threats coming from the side of Red Dusk, you have the Hecarim Macaulay sort of charging through the team. You still have more initiate on the side, I believe, on Schism, because you have the Scion ultimate, you have the Rammus Powerball, and as well as the Swain sort of finding a finish. So there's more, I believe there's more avenues for Schism to start a fight on their terms than there are on the side of Red Dusk. But Red Dusk is really looking to maybe play off of the Maokai. I feel like they're looking to make more picks. They're looking to find Maokai, snaring an important target, throwing a Kali Hecarim on top of them, and saying, this is how we won the fight. Maybe off a stray Ash Arrow. There's a lot more places to look at their side and say, this is how Red Dusk wants to start a fight. This is how Schism wants to start a fight. They want to start a fight by throwing everybody at you at once, saying you can't get through any of us because we're all knocking you up, taunting you, locking you down with CC, while Carmony's moving around on the sidelines and picking people off. While you see the side of Red Dusk, and they're really looking to say, we've caught somebody off of an Ash Arrow, we've caught your Soraka, your Kaisa, and now they're dead. And now that you've lost your main source of damage, you don't really get to fight us for the rest of this fight.
So I guess the thing that's interesting to me from RDE in particular is how you get to that point. How does Akali go into Swain? How does Maokai go into Scion? Does Kaisa Soraka just bully you out, or are they kind of fine in this laning phase?
I feel like the main point of contention here is definitely going to be in the bot lane. Ashe Zyra, of course, a very traditional over time, the harass lane to really worry about, as well as the extreme combo of their level 6. Which, I mean, if you go point to point with the level 6s here, between the Ash Arrow Zyra ultimate damage versus the damage of Kaisa ult, Soraka ult, which are two non-damaging ults, it's going to be a very volatile level 6, especially. And I believe that the power of Ashe Zyra is really looking to, push away and harass them away from being able to get level 6 at the same time, to take away those defensive tools. So I think what we're going to see is this Red Dusk bot lane at least try to harass away this Carmony Backpack duo to rush that level 6 and then hold that threat over them for a while to really get them on the back heel. As far as the other two lanes, Akali into Swain, I'm not too sure how that plays out. I know Swain has a lot of ability to really handle melees. He can get through with his snare, get through with the auto attack range. And I know Maokai Scion is really, I mean, we've seen Maokai Scion a couple times from a couple different people, and it's played really differently in a lot of the matchups that we've seen. We've seen, I believe, Reign of Kings Viator take on Scion from, I want to say, White Lotus, and actually I believe he got a solo kill in that lane. Or at least he showed the ability for Maokai to really dodge out some of these Scion spells, use the Twisted Advance to dodge out the Scion Q, and then go in on him and hit him with your combo, so you've kind of dodged out that damage. It's definitely been a really nice boon. So you've seen the matchup go both ways. So top lane's kind of a swing matchup. Mid, I'm not as proficient about to really know how Akali really maneuvers around Swain. But of course, Rammus, a very proactive jungler, and Hecarim, one that's very known for his very speedy ganks that are really hard to react to. So I expect to see a little bit of jungle action coming out, especially from my Smell Pig, to really, push lanes in one favor or another.
Well, you had actually mentioned that Cheesecake and Yeye on the Ashe Zyra are going to be probably pretty aggressive in the bot lane. So I was actually kind of wondering if I Smell a Pig is going to need to potentially babysit them in some way because of how maybe aggressive they would be, or whether they're, let's call it just for the colloquial term, a winning lane in the bot lane might allow I Smell a Pig to kind of look towards probably the Akali as KTA, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I've definitely been thinking that. I'm thinking that they wanted to pick a more self-sufficient bot lane to kind of keep Carmony and back on their back heels too. Because that tends to be a pattern that we see a lot from Red Dusk. We see a lot of sort of the name a more iconic duo than I Smell a Pig and KTA mid. We definitely see a lot of action in the mid lane around him that revolves around him getting him early, going very aggressive in his favor. So if we see the swing getting put behind on the Akali, then we really get it to a good place, and I Smell a Pig has definitely been notorious for that. And they take away a lot of his early aggressive picks in favor of KTA mid really getting, and if you can get ahead on this Akali, then it's really going to be a lot harder for Schism to just body him out, because he will be able to find his way through the backline on this very mobile Akali pick.
So is this a 2-0 Schism, a 2-1 Red Dusk? What are we looking for this series?
I really don't like calling it early out, I'm not going to lie, because there's been so much action from both of these teams.
You got to give me a pick.
You got to give me a pick. We're going to go, if I'm looking at it, I'm going to go 2-1 Schism.
2-1 Schism is the call from your color caster this evening. We will see you guys in the game in just a few minutes after a word from our sponsors. Do not touch that browser.
It's Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and S4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa, and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Summoners, welcome to the Rift for the first match of the first series of this evening between Schism and RDE. The call was for a 2-1 to Schism. We're going to have to see if that one game for RDE is coming up this match or if it's the first of two for Schism. Obviously, things can go a different way, but the script is set. So, Mr. Skyson.
Yeah.
I'm curious as to when we're going to start seeing some action between these teams. Are we going to have some really, really fast, like level 4 ganks, or is it going to be a little bit of a while until we start seeing some team fights, perhaps?
I don't think we're going to have to wait too terribly long to see a gank. I think, especially between the Rammus, who has the ability to get to the taunt powerball as quickly as possible. If we may see something as early as, if we see a lot of action in the top lane, too. May even see a gank go up there around level 3, but other than that,
well, there's a lot of CC on both teams to set up for. I mean, there's a lot of CC top lane. There's the I'm not really so much with the Kali, but Ashe and Zyra are pretty scary when it comes to roots, and obviously, I mean, at level 6 in particular. Maybe not a level 2 gank, but it's going to be pretty juicy. If I were I Smell a Pig to be going bot lane. But I'm actually most interested in the mid lane is the matchup that I'm the most wanting to see how it goes. Because both of these champions, rather, are pretty snowbally, one might say. Probably Akali a little bit more than Swain, but Swain can get pretty scary in his own right. So I'm going to want to keep an eye on things for now. But kind of slower pathing from both junglers for the time being. Blue buff into Raptors for I Smell a Pig. Red buff into Wolves for Bestrin. Not any level 2 ganks, unfortunately. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, we're really getting pulled around the map here as we just kind of see the early microaggressions being pulled from both sides. Back that train, the Qs around Maverick trying to get the damage on the Maokai. Just really a lot of action back and forth. Nice little trades coming out from everybody.
Never move coming from Stevenator, for instance. Everyone's just kind of feeling each other out. It is the first match of the game, or the night, of course, so you don't want to, maybe be flashing in at level 1, but, you want to see kind of what your opponent's feeling, if they're in a good mood, bad mood, so you can exploit anything. Do want to point out that we do have a Mountain Drake as our first Drake. Should be a little bit more of a point of contention than, say, like a Cloud Drake as a first Drake. I always like it when the first one is a bit... valuable, I guess would be the word for it. Ooh, unfortunately, a cannon does get missed by Mr. Carmony. It's okay, though. We still have plenty of game to go. A decent, actually, health lead in the bot lane for Cheesecake Yeye, but with Carmony's nice Q, that should be good enough to trade him out. Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of chilling. We're hanging out. This game to be had. There was something that I was told by production at the beginning of the night, and I had this whole, thing set up for it, like how you can get a certain something for your troubles, but I don't think we're going to get there, unfortunately, anymore, because I was changed out. But actually, KTA is forcing Bestrin to flash, gets the kill easily with the taunt, flashes out with Ignite still ticking on him, but he's fine. He's totally fine. Really easy first blood picked up for KTA mid.
Yeah, very nicely done on their side. Great presence of mind from KTA to get in there and block out the escape from the Powerball. Bestrin really having to find it out there. Ended up not being able to get through, and very nicely cleaned up by the pair there.
Could Bestrin have flashed a little bit earlier, or was he just kind of doomed as soon as KTA roamed?
I think he had agency to flash a different way there. I think he wanted to get towards the tower because I Smell a Pig had the ability to maybe run around and get to the Raptor camp if he tried to flash over there, but I think that may have been a suboptimal flash that he wanted there, but
well, suboptimal as it was, there's 3 summoners actually traded for it between I Smell a Pig and KTA, so a kill in first blood's bad, but that could be a return gank for Bestrin, trying to get a little bit of a revenge on the mid laner of RDE, but actually he's going to the bot lane, rolling in onto Cheesecake. Cheesecake flashes instantly, does heal as well. Root on to Carmony, very well done by Yeye. Yeye gets the kill with Ignite, but traded by Carmony, actually for the kill on Cheesecake, but Yeye comes out with a double onto a Backpack. I don't think he's got enough in the tank to finish off Bestrin. Going to poke him out a little bit with the root. Turns out for a 2-for-1 for the side of RDE. Both ADCs going down with both summoners, though.
Yeah, Yeye really doing an excellent job there. Noticing the gank as it came in, and immediately as the Rammus went in for Cheesecake, Yeye responded by setting up her combo on top of Carmony and Backpack. You actually saw Carmony have to flash away from Yeye, almost immediately killing him before they even found the first kill. So definitely a very nice reaction on the side of Red Dusk to enter that gank. And that's what we talked about. The power of the Ashe Zyra lane. You saw Carmony and Backpack losing out on that HP advantage and going so low in that lane that even when they had Bestrin coming in for the gank, Backpack and Carmony were so low that Yeye was able to return with that Zyra damage and just absolutely take them out before they were really able to get to the rest of the fight.
Well, there is some damage coming to the top lane, but I think Jen MJ is going to be okay. But back to that bot lane, I was actually kind of interested because Cheesecake was pretty low, but it looked like Yeye was almost at full health because you're right. They were just bullying so hard that maybe it was a little bit of big eyes for the side of Bestrin. It kind of at first looked like it'd be a good gank, but Zyra's a scary, scary support when it comes to her CC and damage output. Although I am interested, I see a lot of electrocute Zyras. Is there anything that I need to watch out for the Comet? Is it just better and I just don't know how to play support?
I think Comet, I don't know, Comet versus electrocute on stuff like this just kind of has a general case to make you really get a lot more. You get a lot more uses out of Comet than you do electrocute. So if you're looking just inconsistently poke, which you kind of have to do, I don't know. Some would say you want to go electrocute into Soraka because you want to focus more on bursting her down rather than, taking minor windows here and there of getting it down. So it could just be a stylistic difference the AA prefers with the Comet, unless you get a little bit. It depends on what else you want out of the tree too. Of course, you're getting a little bit more of the sorcery tree on a support than you will out of the domination tree.
Okay, maybe his personal preference after all. But actually, it looks like Steven is trying to ascend in the mid lane. He does not have a never move. Not sure about that. I'm only flash forward for the never move, but a nice dash away from KTA. He does use his ultimate to get away from that very, very heads-up play from KTA. Probably could have been a kill with his flash down. Steven is trying to go for something, but nothing pans out. We're going to have to see that infamous KTA healing on the Akali as a charge in from I Smell a Pig as a Knight as well. Double second kill for KTA in only a few minutes. Where was that flash and ultimate from Stevenator that he used only a few seconds earlier?
Yeah, he was definitely looking to get the aggressive play in there early and really try to put KTA on the back heel, and didn't really get himself out of time there. And of course, we talked about it, the KTA Pig, just the duo in the bot lane. Immediately, Pig was like, well, this guy has no summoners now, has no flash, has no ult. We're just going to go in on him after that. And they immediately turned the heat on him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to just guess basically, oh, there's an ultimate in the bot lane, root as well, another ultimate, and Yeye picks up his third kill of the game. God, that Enchanted Crystal arrow was perfectly timed.
So we talked about the Ashe Zyra level 6, and you see the Backpack Harmony there, we're level 5. And that is exactly what happens when you get put behind in levels against Ashe Zyra. They hit 6, they have their Rs, and usually someone disappears after that.
Yeah, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of respect given from the bot lane of Schism, excuse me. That's the two lanes not going so well for the side of Schism, and Jan MJ is just kind of chilling as the tree farming top lane, so it's not even like a really winning lane top lane either. What needs to be happening is Bestrin, does he need to kind of turn things around, or can Stevenator and Carmony do it by themselves?
Yeah, I really think that Schism was going for the approach. Well, at least Stevenator was looking for the more aggressive approach to trying to put the lane in his favor, trying to put the moves on KTA early and get a kill to go in his favor. As for the bot lane, and I mean, this is sort of what I was looking at, or looking for it to be like. You get the Ashe Zyra into sort of picking the Soraka and really putting yourself kind of at the mercy of their harass. And you're not really at a good agency with Soraka to get off, a clean Q with Soraka and Ona.
Well, speaking of a clean Q, I Smell a Pig is 3 levels on top of Backpack. It's just going to have to bail almost instantly. You actually mentioned that potentially Ignite would have been even scarier against Backpack, so I can only imagine how how awful things could be if Yeye was running the electrocute. But a flash forward in the mid lane and a fleeing Stevenator trying to get out. He still does have his Ascended Demon. Pops on to I Smell a Pig. They might have bit off a little bit more they can chew here as Unstoppable comes out from Maverick. Stevenator does pick up his first kill of the game, start equalizing things. Nice collapse by the side of Schism, but they did blow a lot there. That blowed the TP top, and they had to give up a chance to Crystalero in the bot lane, another route as well. They aren't going to be able to clean it up. That's a flash blow in bot lane. It's still not a losing mid lane. They're still trying to keep things up. The bot lane is going pretty scary for the side of Schism. Really nice turnaround, though, mid lane.
Yeah, they're really the turn on that in the mid lane, and good reaction from Bestern to get the flash taunt in there before they were able to bring Stevenator down. Did a nice job for them to turn that around. And it was really unfortunate that they met the sort of the backflip cooldown off the Akali, or they would have definitely found that Scion ultimate into the quick 3-man, because they still had the Scion pull back, or the Swain pull passive, I believe. So if they had that available, they would have definitely gone off. So it was very nice of KTA to find that backflip cooldown to get out of that situation very quickly.
I'm pretty certain the passive would work on the knockback by Maverick's ultimate. I'm not certain. It's most CC, right?
It's pretty much any CC, hard CC.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, they probably could have been a double kill. What, did they just go? Did they, as in I Smell a Pig and KTA, just going a little bit too fast as a Stevenator was ascending?
I don't think that it was out of line for them to do. I think that it was really on Bestern to get there ASAP, and I think if Bestern had...
Oh, wow, it's a lot of damage coming out of Carmony. He does ultimate forward on to Cheesecake. He's trying to finish off this kill, hasn't gotten it just yet. Finally pops the last one, but here is, actually, it's KTA coming from mid lane. Flash away from Backpack. Easy kill for KTA picked up with the Shuriken toss. 1-for-1 trade. One onto Carmony, one onto KTA. So 3-0. Probably pretty close to that Gunblade as the trade is in the top lane. Not sure if there's going to be too much more. JNMJ does have Flash and the knockback to get rid of the knock up. That kind of still looks like it's in the favor of KTA with that 1-to-1 trade.
Yeah, KTA definitely getting really scary on this Akali here. He's sitting on a lot of money. I think looking at it, that's about 1,800. I believe that's enough to finish the Gunblade off of that. I'm not sure the exact. Maybe
15, 10, 3,600, and he's got 2,600 left. 16. He's about 200 gold away.
Yeah. So
probably about this wave.
He's definitely looking to get into that and be a constant. And we talked about this. This is what Red Dusk wanted to build on their team. They wanted to get ahead of those tanky builds, and you just have Maverick sitting on the Sunfire cape really, and no other crazy tanky items. So this brutal front line that Schism's trying to throw in front of Red Dusk, right now KTA, once he picks up his Gunblade and gets ahead of the game, he's really going to be in a position where nobody is going to be able to really tank him up, and he'll be able to find these targets. And Carmony is really going to have to deal with a lot here between the Ash Arrow, the Zyra ultimate, and then the threat of KTA getting on top of him. And there's not going to be a whole lot of response that Schism's going to be able to bring out if their front line isn't really able to tank up the Akali.
Well, I mean, yeah, once you get past Maverick and Bestern, what is Carmony and Backpack even to do? Let alone, KTA diving into the back line. If there just isn't even front line, he doesn't really need to worry when he goes through them. Same with I Smell a Pig. These are not what you would call long-lasting kind of champions in the bot lane. Ooh, a nice steal coming away from Maverick, though, as the Intimidating Shout does pick up the red buff. That's going to be kind of nice. He has been going pretty toe-to-toe with JNMJ. Might give him a little bit of a lead here in the top lane as the really only stable lane for Schism right now. Although the trades from JNMJ have been really, really strong, Maverick's been really trying to keep things set up. Maybe he is the front line that Schism needs. Maybe this equal lane is all they really need to get, give Carmony and Stevenator some potential to win team fights.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we've definitely seen through a lot of these games, and I mean several games in this league in general, we've seen that Scion is a very reliable front line and a very reliable initiate. The champion all around does what you want out of a top laner very well right now.
Well, speaking of initiate, he has onslaughts on to JNMJ, but the turret's down in the bot lane. I Smell a Pig picks up an easy kill into Carmony. TP in from Stevenator as he ascends and tries to turn this around. He doesn't get the kill on Yaya yet. He doesn't get the shutdown on KTA yet. He gets the shutdown on Yaya, gets the kill on Cheesecake. Double kill for him easily. Still picked up for Bestron. There is the pullback as well. A triple kill coming in from Stevenator from that easy TP from mid lane. And the kill for Maverick is an ace for RDA. Things turn around utterly. All they gave up was the bot lane tower. They're going to pick up the first dragon as well. Things are looking up all of a sudden.
So, Stevenator came up huge in that fight. And you really got to give it a little bit to Bestrin, who definitely did a great job of locking up KTA after they found the kill onto Carmony. Bestrin and as well as the Silence from Backpack doing a nice job of locking up KTA as Akali in the back, while Steve was able to come in and put a lot of damage down on the Akali, and then immediately shifting the fight forward to find that flash, demonic, I believe it's called Demonic Inferno,
Ascension.
something of that nature. But
Demonic
finding
Ascension.
that, right, Demonic Ascension, finding that onto the pair and picking up the series of kills was absolutely what Schism was looking for. And if you're not able to build the front line on the Scion, which, I mean, Maverick did his job well as finding that solo kill in the top lane. Absolutely great job to him. So now you have the Scion. Now your Swain is online. You have the Rod of Ages. You have these kills. Now you have a consistent amount of damage coming out of your frontline threats. They're no longer just big, beefy tanks that Akali can just slide through and ignore.
Well, speaking of Akali sliding through, that's a really big shutdown on a Stevenator. 600 some odd gold given up to JanMJ. Unfortunately, it doesn't go to KTA. Probably would have set him back. I was about to say that the 4-1 Stevenator is a little bit scarier than KTA right now, but I think that's okay with the shutdown as they're going to go for the Rift Herald. Not much of a contest coming in just yet as Bestron is left to hold onto mid lane that JanMJ is sieging onto, but that means no one is in the bot lane for RDE, and Maverick is just easily picking up the CS. However, with the Rift Herald, the first tower for RDE should be potentially fairly easy to pick up. But actually, it looks like Yeye might be a little bit caught out here. He does not have flash. He has no way to get out, but Ice Melon Pig goes over the wall. He tries to turn him around. He ults onto 3, as well as KTA jumping in there. There is the wish, though, and actually, so far, KTA does pick up 1 kill in the backpack. Not sure if he's going to get out yet. Carmony turns it around, a 2-for-1 for the side of Schism. A little bit overzealous from Yeye, and an even more overzealous re-engagement from the rest of the team.
Yeah, Yeye got put in a really precarious position there. He was not where he wanted to be on the side, and as he tried to get closer to an escape there, he was even locked up from getting away from, finding a binding from the Silence coming out from Backpack Soraka. So it really put him in a bad position, but at the same time, KTA really wanted to get a little more than he could from that Soraka, hung around a little bit in that smoke cloud as the team from Schism got to disperse around their tower, and after he found the kill on the Soraka, he really didn't have many places to go, and Carmony did a nice job of catching him out there and making sure he got that kill to not go unanswered. So he put a decent amount of gold in his own pocket as well.
Yeah, that does put Carmony at 3 kills already on this Kai'Sa, who, while Akali mid is pretty scary with 3 kills, the Kai'Sa is just going to scale. Already has the Stormrazor complete. He's not going to be going for that AP on-hit build. I kind of like that, actually, with the lack of tanks coming out of RDE. Lack of multiple tanks, rather. He's well on his way to his second item in only 18 minutes in the game. That's going to be rapidly a scary hyper-scaling ADC that, until just a few moments ago, was kind of a secondary thought for the side of RDE. Same, actually, with the Swain, who now has 2 items complete already, halfway through the Rod of Ages as well. He's not going to be all in by KTA as easily with the Zone. He has a nice trade coming out as well. Who needs an all in when you can just out-trade your opponent?
Yeah, I was going to say, the 2-item spike of Swain is definitely one you don't want to go have ignored, especially having that blue buff. It's very difficult for KTA, I think, now to just find those in and out engages that he was putting on to Stevenator to get that free damage off, because now if he's looking to get found by one of those Swain bindings, it's going to be a lot harder for him to escape and not take a ton of damage in the process, even through Akali sustain.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because Stevenator hit a ton of never moves KTA in the first few minutes of the game, while as KTA was in and out, as you mentioned, a lot in the first few moments of the game. But it kind of looks like, even though they're trading back and forth evenly, an Unstoppable comes onto Cheesecake, instantly knocks him up. And here is Carbony. He wants to get in on this, but he gets blown up instantly by KDA. Yeye is stuck. He gets the Stranglethorn off. Might be enough as Bestron goes down to I Smell a Pig, as well as a big root coming down from Jan MJ. But here is the Ascended Demon trying to clean up the fight. He might be able to get the explosion off. He hits the Zonias just before it goes off, and it looks like KTA is going to back out. Never move on to Jan MJ. KTA wants to try and clean this up. I don't think he can, though. He might have to give up Jan MJ as a double kill goes for Stevenator. And I think KTA is going to walk out. No, Never Knew with the flash forward from Stevenator. They do lose him in the shadows. I don't know if they want to keep fighting under the tower. They haven't really decided yet. Here comes Bestron from the bot side of the map. He wants to finish this. Oh my god, he's just gone. He's just gone. Never mind. They did not want to continue that fight at all. They're going to have to pick up some more at their first tower here, as the second tower did go down to the Rift Herald on the side of RDE, but the gold score is still pretty similar, as well as the kill scores. That's a lot of kills on both mid laners, though.
Yeah, this is definitely the fight we were looking for, and I talked a little bit about power that KTA has brought. I wanted to say way back when we were talking about this matchup, kind of feeling each other out. This is week 8, and I believe the last week that Schism and Red Dusk had played was week 2. And I think of all 10 players playing, I believe only 3 were the same as on the original roster.
Well, one of those original members was KTA mid, who tries to get the execute onto Carbony, but the heal away from Carbony might be enough to keep it away. He does actually burn the flash as well. Burns the flash, heal, and the shield from Backpack for that OG member of RDE. Nice trade there. He didn't really use anything outside of his ultimate.
That was very nicely done on KT. He's really flexing the power of that Akali pick. Now he's got the Gunblade. He's got a lot of damage in on his side, and it's a threat that can be really anywhere on the map that he needs to be on the team. And now we're seeing a lot of movements come out from the side of Red Dusk that are facilitating this Akali being able to just find somebody at a moment's notice.
Well, when you give an Akali 6 kills and a few assists, why not go ahead and flex? However, despite the flexing on the bot lane of Schism, they are going to be able to pick up the second Mountain Drake here. It's going to make them pretty scary if they ever get Baron control, but they're trying to get onto KTA right now. He's pretty jumpy, but root actually onto Yeye, or flash forward from Yeye rather. The Stranglethorn does not hit though. No kill for Backpack, but a trade of flashes for the supports. KTA was able to get away in the fray. But what I was trying to mention is that a double Mountain Drake on Baron with a Kaisa in particular is fast, to say the least.
Of towers.
And towers as well. I'm just worried that if RDE loses vision of the Baron ever, Carbony is just going to basically one-shot it.
Yeah, it's definitely a threat that is on the side of Schism here. But
yeah, they're not worried about it just yet. They do actually, as in Schism, does have TP advantage, and they might be able to kind of look that way if they really want to. Jan MJ does not have TP, and both Stevenator and Maverick actually do have a lot more global pressure from the side of Schism that we haven't seen. Well, I guess we've seen a couple of good TPs coming out of Stevenator, so I'm going to retract that statement before I make it. They're clearing out vision around the Baron. Not sure if they want to start it just yet. RDE is trying to smell something out, and I think they're just going to clear out some of the vision and fix their waves and just let Maverick and JanMG smack their spaghetti against each other for the next 20 minutes and not really kill each other outside of that one time.
I do love a bit of bot lane in the top lane.
Actually, Carbony might be picked out here. He does not have flash. He does not have heal. He's going to pick up I Smell a Pig pretty easily. Oh, there's a great Ash arrow on to Carbony. I think that gave him the kill. They gave Cheesecake the kill onto Backpack somehow. I don't really know. KTA might be a little bit overextended here. He pops the Zonias, but that's only going to delay the inevitable. Oh, nice Shadow Mount, but no, he's going to... Whoa, he gets over the wall with the Shuriken flip, and he goes back in, I think, onto the Shroud. Very nicely done. Cheesecake even picks up a kill from mid lane somehow, and a 2-for-0 on the side of RDE as Carbony and Backpack are once again caught out. This time, both of them die, though.
Yeah, definitely a whole lot of back and forth action. Starting there with Carmony really getting found out by I Smell a Pig there, and you see the power of that Hecarim pick to just, it's a lot different than, you know, I mean, it's not terribly different from the Scion. You get the ultimate to just run in at you and say, this is how we're going to start a fight. It's Hecarim running at you and saying, I'm here and I'm also going to kill you. You saw that initial devastating charge come through, and I believe it half health Carmony. And even when Carmony found the means to ult himself out of the fight, it immediately brought Smell a Pig to come through with his ultimate and finish the job off there. So just that immediate presence threat of Hecarim, there isn't a lot really on the side of Schism here to deal with something is that instant threat like Hecarim. They don't really have much besides, you know, a Rammus Tom, but he has to be there to answer the Hecarim basically as it's happening.
It was a few seconds before Bestron came in, and basically he just ate the ultimate that got Backpack killed. Not that Backpack really would have made it out at all, but feels kind of bad when you're just trying to help your team. But that has given a lot of pressure over to the side of RDE, who has maintained what was a minor gold lead, but now a somewhat sizable gold lead of about 3,000. 25 minutes into the game. And I had only just noticed, actually, that JNMJ was, until recently, 2 or 3 levels down on Maverick. So he's been really trying to catch up in this experience department as he trades back and forth with Maverick. But here comes a Smell a Pig. He wants to get the onslaught on. The flash does not go anywhere. This is an extremely long lane for Maverick. He's pretty tanky. He's pretty unstoppable.
Yeah, he was looking to get an avenue for that ultimate, so I flashed away.
KTA is away. He's okay. It don't matter. He's gonna go back in, actually. He tries to get the execute instantly. Whoa, he's got 1 health. Where is go? Flash forward from Stevenator trying to finish it off. Don't think he can. Bestron tries to get the kill on to Cheesecake. He definitely can. Stevenator was able to pick up the kill on KTA. He's 7-2 now on this Swain with a decent CS lead. He's trying to get a kill on the JNMJ as well, who dashes on to Backpack. Backpack's down instantly. Where is the Ashe? Where is the DPS from RDE? As a lot of kiting is coming out of Carmony. There's not, I mean, there's 2 tanks standing here. Flash forward from JNMJ. He does pick up a kill on a Carmony, surprisingly. And I Smell a Pig's trying to re-engage, but he's pretty low on health versus a double and a 2.5 tank lineup right now from Schism. They do get the never move onto him. Another kill picked up for Maverick. That's the second of his game. 2-0 and 2 on the Scion. He wants to continue this, actually. JNMJ gets a nice heal up as well. Twisted Advance on top of Maverick. Maverick's really, really tanky, but there is an ADC on the side of RDE, but it's also another tank that's not going to go in whatsoever. Stevenator's really trying to clean up this fight. He doesn't have his ultimate yet. Shut down onto Maverick. JNMJ is going to trade his life onto Maverick. 3-1 on for Maverick. 4-3 on to JNMJ. Extremely extended fight that might not be over just yet. Backpack might have gotten caught up, but actually never moved hits onto KTA. I don't think Stevenator can finish it just yet. That might have been the end of the fight.
I've seen a lot. There's a lot to digest there. And at the end of the day, both teams put a ton of kills in their pocket. But most definitely the important things to note there are RDE for the longest. You're starting to see Schism's comp come together now. You're starting to see their idea. And in that fight, you saw several times re-engages and fights getting denied on the side of Red Dusk, trying to enter, you know, find Carmony. And it took several, you know, seconds of fighting through this exceptionally tanky Maverick and Bestron to try to find Carmony on the side. And it came down to John MJ finding that flash over the wall to find the finish off on Carmony. But even after that, it was really Maverick on the Scion just absolutely bodying people out of this fight.
The Drake is picked up by I Smell a Pig. Secured, rather, but the team fight has not ended just yet. The route on to Stevenator might actually kind of stop it for a little bit. He does ascend, gets up a kill pretty easily on a Yeye, as Cheesecake does go down 3-0 for the side of Schism. That's not really worth the double mountain or the single mountain Drake when they already have double after all. I didn't mean to cut you off a little bit earlier there because you're right. Carmony needed so much from the previous extended fight to go down that there just really wasn't much left in the tank of RDE, but what there was left in the tank for RDE, they didn't pick it up except for pretty easy kill on a backpack. He gets away with the blast going to actually, and Stevenator's trying to turn the kill around. An airborne onto I Smell a Pig should be a pretty easy pickup for Stevenator. He doesn't get it. He does get it, just barely. He pops the Zonia, but he doesn't have his ultimate, and he's going to go down to KTA. A big shutdown, actually, for KTA. Smite is up for Bestrin. This should be a pretty easy pickup. Flash forward from KTA. He wants to turn it around. He's just making sure, see that the Bestrin Smite doesn't go off. But it is picked up by the side of Schism. They did have to give up Stevenator, but I like Stevenator sacrificing his life for I Smell a Pig. That's just going to be a pretty valuable trade when you're picking up Baron.
Yeah, I was going to say that Baron, that single play actually re-evened the gold from the deficit that Schism was suffering. But they're definitely starting to pull ahead, and their comp is definitely starting to work out here. And now on top of the extremely tanky threat of the Scion, Stevenator, an absolute monster now on the Scion. And Red Dusk is getting to the point where even if we throw our Akali and our Hecarim on top of Carmony, what is going to happen to our Ashe Zyra, who's not able to stop down Stevenator? Because we saw Yeye and I believe Cheesecake both unload all their crowd control onto Stevenator. He didn't die. He was very much healthy at coming back up from that fight, and it's just adding on to how much you have to throw on top of Stevenator right now on the Scion with all of his items and all of his inherent tankiness and sustain to really keep him down. And it's getting to a point in Schism's team fight where they are really comfortable in setting Maverick and Bestrin in this front line. Stevenator really able to play both sides here and just say, you cannot ignore this Swain now. This Swain will absolutely find and kill people.
Well, apparently you can't ignore Carmony either as he ults forward onto the kill of I Smell a Pig. Here comes the Unstoppable on a JMJ. A nice pullback as well. That's a double kill picked up for Carmony very easily. I said it was a double before it even went through. Don't know how I guessed that somehow. Might continue the play onto Yeye. I'm not sure. A never move from Stevenator. Almost two shots. Yeye as the triple kill picked up from Carmony. Might not be quick enough succession, but you were saying that to stop Stevenator, we need to stop Carmony as a side of RDE as another route picked up by Stevenator. That might be another kill. It's another kill for Carmony. He's got 4 kills in the past 40 seconds or something like that. That's an unofficial quadra from the ADC of Schism.
And moves are absolutely on point this game. It is horrifying watching him put on this.
He just hit another one. I've seen Blitzcranks miss more routes than Stevenator has this game, and that's going to be a pretty easy pickup on the Nexus as well. For Schism, looked kind of scary the first few minutes, but they turn everything around. 1-0 for Schism.
All right. That, at the end of the day, talked a lot about the game plan that Schism was going for to build a comp around Carmony. Turns out that the man on the bird is quite a force of his own.
Well, okay, so my favorite thing as an ADC, I don't really play it as much anymore, but is to just sit for like 40 minutes and just farm and farm and farm, and then take 4 kills at the end of the game and look like I carried. Because my mid laner is 11-3, and it just looks really nice as the Kai'Sa just pick up a quadra kill. But Stevenator ended up doing something like almost 37,000 damage, well over 1,000 damage a minute, which is utterly insane coming out of Swain. The never moves that we mentioned were disgusting. The demonic ascension was really just kind of largely ignored by the side of RDE. I can't really I don't feel like I've seen so many fully channeled demonic ascensions with both the life drain and then the explosion hitting on so many people so consistently over and over again. Eventually people start kind of flashing away.
You see, that was sort of the issue with the Red Dusk draft, is they committed so much of their crowd control. They have the Ashe Arrow, the Zyra ultimate, and the Maokai, and it's a lot more initiating CC. They really didn't have a lot of crowd control and a lot of answers for Schism. If Schism started to fight on their terms, there were not a lot of answers from Red Dusk, and you saw Ashe Arrow, Zyra ultimate get spent on even Stevenator, and after those initial rounds of crowd control went down, Steve was able to keep walking through the team and said, well, now I'm going to unleash an ascension on you, and you have no way to stop this from happening. So definitely want to see that. Moving into this game 2, I believe we're going to be seeing a bit more of a reactionary draft needing to come out from the side of Red Dusk.
I was just going to ask, does that mean that Swain needs to be banned or just played around differently? Because you mentioned that it was just kind of a potentially misusage of the CC against Swain that kind of let him just kind of run over the lineup of RDE. Can the draft change that, or is it just kind of a play style thing?
I don't know. I think it's a little bit of both. I think the draft is not. I don't think the draft had a terrifying amount of issues. I think that the Hecarim may have been the one that seemed out of place for me, because once you get to the point where your front line is bulky tanks and there's also a Swain you need to deal with on your team, that kind of falls. If your top is Maokai and has Peel, then you kind of want to get a little bit more out of your jungler and something like that. And Hecarim's sort of job is to, he kind of plays that partial assassin, I guess. And I mean, you saw him finding a lot of early ganks. Smellepig definitely was doing his job throughout the early mid game. You found him convert a lot of kills in the mid lane. You found him finding some solo kills in on Kai'Sa over there. So he definitely did his job. But I think that when you have these forward facing threats like Swain to deal with, it really falls on your top and your jungle to form out that front line and be the peel that'll keep the Swain away from your important carries, instead of just letting him walk through. If you're going to let that Swain come through, I think that they do have the opportunity to ban out the Swain and take him away for the next draft, but it depends on what they want to do going forward.
Okay, we're gonna have to see if that Swain is priority in the next draft, but for the time being, we're gonna kick it to a break really quickly. It's gonna be a long night. Gonna have to save our voices and our minds. We'll see you in just a few moments for the next draft, folks. Welcome back to the Games XP Championship Season 4, friends. It's Week 8 already. Surprisingly, that's kind of weird. We're watching Schism Esports between Red Dusk Esports. Schism was able to pick up a somewhat surprising win, although it looked a little bit more strong towards the end of it. You did say it would be a 2-1 day for Schism, did you not?
I most certainly did, and I think I'm going to stand behind that as we see definitely a lot different directions that I believe RD can take their draft going forward, and most notably, we're seeing now as we look at the rosters, we have traded out John MJ in the top lane, and Red Dusk has brought in Virtual Trap into the top lane, which most notably, I believe he's a new addition to the team, and I believe he's played for a week, but he most notably was present in the set that Red Dusk did take over White Lotus. So he has been a very nice asset to the Red Dusk pickup. So seeing him playing this game will be very interesting.
What was it that he played against White Lotus in the top lane?
Oh lord, I want to say he played Yasuo. I remember there was a Yasuo game. I think there was a Kennen game as well. I'm going to look up. He definitely brought a different... I'm going to go look it up right now so I don't sound crazy.
So we might have a little bit more than a tank fight in the top lane. Of course, now that I say that, it's just going to be a tank fight in the top lane.
Yeah, game 1 he played Yasuo. Game 2 he played Yasuo. Game 3 he played Kennen.
Okay, so maybe we'll get a Yasuo. We'll have to see. I think I just left the lobby on accident. I'll get there in a second. First ban for the side of Red Dusk Esports is Swain. Big respect coming out. I think that's quite fair after we saw what Mr. Stevenator was able to pull out on the Demon. And Yasuo actually banned out for Schism.
Schism does not want to see that Yasuo. Does not want to see Trap performing here.
Hey man, we got Camille, we got Riven, we got Kennen, we got Aatrox. There are plenty of aggressive top lanes of Virtual Trap can still play that won't be a Scion or a, Ornn.
Definitely
won't be Scion at all because it's banned.
And I like this. Red Dusk is not looking to just stick to the bans that they thought would be good going in. They're reacting and adapting to the picks that have really worked out in Schism's favor, which, I mean, it's a good and a bad thing. It's rough when you go to the first game and you say, this is what I feel like we should ban because this is what we think they'll perform best on. Then they perform really well on other champions, so you ban them going into game 2 and you're saying, well, what about all those champions I didn't ban in, all right, I banned in game 1 that I'm not banning now. If we give those to them, will they be just as threatened?
Well, speaking of bans, it's the second Zilean ban in a row. Is that for Stevenator or Backpack?
That is definitely for Stevenator, I believe.
Huh. Interesting. I kind of mentioned in the previous game, I never really see Zilean without something else. But, there are plenty of, I wouldn't call them one tricks in the league, but people that can pull out such a monstrous game on 1 or 2 champions that they are kind of worth banning out. Cassiopeia actually banned against KTA twice in a row. For instance, we just mentioned the Yasuo for Virtual Trap. Kane actually is picked up. I think that's what you had said you wanted to see for... Oh, no. I got baited by myself. I didn't say anything at all. It's Xayah.
They're going to take the Xayah here. Yeah, I think they're confident both in the fact that Besterin does not play Kane. I don't believe he has any Kane games. He plays most of those tanky sort of initiate junglers. So I believe they're confident that taking the Xayah, which is a pick that Carmony has saw a lot of success on in his first couple weeks playing for Schism. So taking away that Xayah for first pick priority is really something that RD wants to put in their favor and maybe even have their Rakan to bolster a little bit afterwards. But nicely done in their favor, as well as not really needing to first pick the Kane, as they are confident that Besterin's not going to go for it.
Well, with Alistar coming in for Schism, they can pick up the Lovers duo in the bot lane, which I just love seeing. I think that the two obviously complement each other very well, but they're really, really exciting. And actually, an Alistar into a Rakan is really exciting too, as they're both heavy engaged champions. With the Jhin coming in with Alistar, I don't see that a lot. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
Alistar Jhin, it's an interesting setup because Jhin really facilitates the ability to, or Jhin is facilitated by supports that have a lot of hard engage, because he sort of has that assassin 80 carry type playstyle, where if you're looking to pick off kills, then having a support that can kind of get in there, get a lot of crowd control going, and a lot of setup for him to set off his combo. You know, you get the Alistair knock up into the Jin snare, into just the auto attack Q fire off into the Alistair stun. So there's a lot of chains that'll go off for this Jin to find a lot of damage in the spot lane. And Backpack's definitely Carmony putting it. I believe he's very proficient as well on the Jin pick. So not too surprised to see that in his pockets.
Well, I did want to talk about the Zed, but then my eyebrow kind of raised when I saw Pantheon. Is that top jungle or mid?
That is a jungle Pantheon. I don't think we've seen Pantheon anywhere but jungle, aside from one top laner who is no longer on this team. But that definitely goes against what I said. Oh, wait a minute. We're getting information.
Yes, the pick was Aurelia. And the unshown ban is Vladimir. So there's not a Pantheon. It's an Aurelia that's probably looking mid lane. I'm going to need a little bit of confirmation. Let me see really quickly. If only there was some sort of, I don't know, in-game kind of system where you could like decide what things didn't want to be in and what things you did want to play with. And like, if only Riot could develop a way for us to easily do that so we didn't have to go through a third-party website.
Yeah,
but
tournament draft unlock champions for people to play in the tournament setting. But
Aurelia was definitely picked in, as well as Gragagas, and the unseen ban for the side of RDE was Vladimir. As they do pick up the cannon for Virtual Trap, as you mentioned, could possibly come in. He didn't have the Yasuo, so the only other thing we've seen him play is cannon. No reason to show any of your other picks when you don't have to.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Being 0-1 at this point in the series, I believe, would typically be a good time to play your cards. So maybe Kennen is the card he's looking to play. So I'm more interested in what this Pantheon is. Or I'm sorry, this Aurelia could go mid, could go top. I don't believe we've seen Stevenator play Aurelia, and I also don't think I've seen Maverick play Aurelia. So it's interesting in general, but it looks like we are going to see the Aurelia mid.
I love Aurelia. Then, well, okay, I just want to say something really quickly. Does that mean it has to be an AP at Gragas?
No, this is Gragas jungle. He's tanky.
I know. But with a Shen, Aurelia, Jin, Alistar, are we really getting a tanky Gragas?
I mean, I think he'll do maybe the Runic Echoes at least to build a supplementary amount of AP, but I don't think... I mean, if you look at the side of RDE, none of those champions are really, terrifyingly tanky.
True.
So, other than really the Tom Kench, who, I mean, you look at Tom Kench on the support role, and he's kind of, fake tanky. If you're able to lock him up long enough between the Aurelia stun, the Gragas knockaround, the Shen taunt, and you can get him CC'd to the point where he can't activate his Grey Health E, he dies pretty quickly. Even pretty.
So what is it how do you actually feel about Aurelia? You wanted to say something to cut you off.
I have mixed thoughts on Aurelia. I like seeing her... I don't know. I like seeing her move around in team fight. Mobility is exciting to me. So I think Aurelia is an interesting champion, but I think she is a very feast or famine type champion. You either see her get ahead very early, and you see her sort of in the position of a lot of these assassins where she'll get ahead and really threaten to move towards somebody and to say, hey, I'm either way too strong for you to deal with, and I'm just going to push myself onto you and you're going to fall over. Or she gets to the point where she's a little bit behind, and it's rough for her to really find her way into a fight and just pick off somebody because she's such a front-loaded melee champion. So I like watching her as a champion. I like watching her in fights. I just think it puts the Aurelia player in a precarious position to either get ahead or not fall behind.
Well, you mentioned a lot of mobility, and I'm actually looking at Xayah, Kayn, Zed, Kennen with a Tom Kench to eat anyone who doesn't have a cooldown up. That's a lot of people that can get away from a lot of stuff, particularly a flawless duet from Aurelia in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be rough for Stevenator to find good things on this Aurelia. because there's a lot of people who move around a lot of different places on the site. But at the same time, if they're able to utilize this Aurelia and able to utilize the Aurelia stuns to follow up off of the Shenton, follow up off of Gragas sort of disruption, and then go into the Aurelia stun and sort of pick people off, then it's really going to be a huge boon for the side of Schism here. And it definitely, once again, we see, I don't know, there's just a lot bigger of a front line now between Alistar, Gragas, Shen to really, for RDE to deal with again, versus RDE who's really looking to do the same thing they did last game. They're forcing Schism to answer, Kennen entering your team, Kane trying to find his way into people, and then Zed, trying to assassinate off a target. So it's a lot of the same as before, just done with several different champions. But I think the ideas that these two teams are bringing to the forefront are, basically the same. But of course, Jhin is a slightly less mobile champion than Kai'Sa, so you don't really have as much freedom to, ult into a team fight and suddenly be behind everybody to pull something off, versus Jhin, who really relies on that front line a lot more to stay behind with the curtain call or pick off people off of the 3rd and 4th shots of his auto attack.
I'm feeling like you're saying a lot of good things for both teams, but I like the glass half empty kind of sentiment. So what I need to hear from you is this the one game that RDE is winning, or is Schism walking away with 2-0 here with this draft?
I am looking at Stevenator right here, and that man, I believe, will be the determinator of whether or not this is a 2-0 or a 2-1 in either favor. But I will say that a lot of people, and word on the street is KDA mid is pretty good at Zed. I don't know who I heard it from. A lot of whispers in the wind, but we're going to see a lot of that, and we're going to see a lot of KDA trying to assert his dominance on this map. And I think that if my 2-1 script is going to be written here, I definitely think that this is somewhat the kind of draft that Red Dusk wants to put together here with Virtual Trap as well to get that accomplished.
Well, I feel like we really slept on Stevenator last game on the Swain pick, and I don't think we really wrote him off so much as just didn't write about him at all. And then he all of a sudden utterly obliterated the game. So you're right. I do want to see Stevenator being the wininator in this game. But I have heard some things about KTZ from a specific person in particular has said quite a lot of things about this Zed. And I got to say, the only time that I've seen this Zed wasn't very pretty. We could, is one way to put it. However, I don't think that was with I Smell a Pig setting things up. I don't think that was with, an aggressive top laner or Isaiah and Tom Kent to kind of clean things up if things go bad. But I have seen some questionable decision makings coming out of the Zed from KTA, whose praises were sung by someone that does not need to be named. But I want to see Stevenator pop off in this Aurelia. That's what I really want to see right now. Like I said, I like Aurelia. I think you are absolutely right that a lot of this game hangs on him. I'm just really, really worried about what Bestring's going to do on this Gragas, though. Because I have seen so many AP Gragases fall so short. I'm just worried he's going to go with AP.
I don't think we're worried about that. I don't really think we see a lot of Gragases, especially in the jungle. I don't think jungle really facilitates the payout to really build into heavy AP. Like I said, at best, I think we'll maybe see the Runic Echoes built on the jungle item to facilitate a little bit of his clear and get some damage out on his skills to make him more than nothing. But I think overall, we're really looking to build into the tanky build, maybe into some, off bruiser build with maybe something crazy like an Iceborne or whatever, but I don't typically think we are going to get to a point, and I think that that's really going to be more promotional of the SKZ idea, that they're going to have the Shen, Gragas, Alistar to just absolutely be the beef for Stevenator to pop off on the Aurelia while preventing Virtual Trap, KTA, all these threats to find their way onto Carmony. Now that you have the Shen, the Gragas Peel, as well as the Alistar, that's definitely going to be what this SKZ team is looking for to, facilitate Stevenator to get into the team and Harmony to be behind the team. So I think we're definitely just going to see the Gragas sort of committed to the peel, maybe finding some flash body slam initiates, but I don't think that's going to be something that we're worried about off of the build.
Okie doke. I guess I'm just a worry person, and call me a dad or something like that.
I almost promise you we're going to see a tank Gragas.
All right. I'm just anxious getting into game 2. I'm sure the players are as well. But before we get over our nerves, we're going to have to kick it to our sponsors. Excuse me. Do not turn the broadcast off. We will see you in a few moments.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
Folks, welcome back to Game 2 between Schism and Red Dusk Esports. Schism was able to pick up the first game here. We're going to see if RDE picks up another game to get us to a best of 3. Speaking, though, of Schism, they do have a 5-man stack run to the bot lane. We're going to have to see if anyone is caught out. Cheesecake's actually a little bit delayed here coming from the base. Uh-oh. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, they're creeping here.
Oh, man, they made it into the bush. Oh, man, there's Cheesecake. Cheesecake is going to go down almost instantly. Kill given over to Best, probably not the best person. Best friend does pick up the kill. First blood on Cheesecake. He doesn't flash, he doesn't heal. I actually kind of like that decision-making there, though.
I don't think either of those would have helped him.
He was not getting out of that one. So, anyway, back to the game starting with Predator boots for Bestron. Actually, that is kind of cool.
Oh,
Okay.
no, he's got the initial Predator, too. Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. That is actually
wasn't
really
bad.
cool.
That wasn't a bad pickup for him then.
Yeah, I was thinking like, oh, I didn't go to Stevenator, didn't go to Carmody, man, this is awful. But then, yeah, no, Bestron, he's chilling. He's a Predator at level 2, which is really
That's threatening.
awful, actually. Okay. Well, so back to a normal start from both junglers. I smell a peg. Kane clearing the Raptors first. Pick up the red buff. And actually, River Shen here doesn't care about CS. He just wants to engage on Virtual Trap. That was a really bad trade in the end for Maverick. River Shen's fine. It's okay. Who cares? He'll get there.
Yeah, see, Virtual Trap was really just zoning him out there in the bush, really preventing him from getting past the river. And Maverick had to use his taunt there to get past Virtual Trap to try to walk past him, and ended up taking several auto attacks. Virtual Trap going with that W first with a lot of damage on him. So both of them were really sacrificing CS there. Virtual Trap saying, "I'd rather keep you away from the CS than get any myself."
Yeah, I mean the range is probably gonna always out trade, right? So
Right.
he's fine to screw with him, but actually a really easy push coming out of Cheesecake and Yay. I think I'd be a little bit scared if I was the bot lane of RDE right now. Sans a kill, or a life rather, with Bestron kind of creeping around. Actually, surprisingly, Bestron did not level 2 gank. I thought that was instantly on the menu with potentially a belly bot flash onto KTA mid. But he's kind of halfway clearing as a flawless duet does hit onto KTA. Nice trade back from KTA though, but ignite onto him from Stevenator is not going to be enough to kill him just yet. But it turns the trade into the favor of Stevenator, except for the summoner usage.
Yeah, I think he was really looking to finish off that kill, and was really looking at the math of trying to flash Q auto to find the kill off on KTA, but between the Conqueror wearing off and putting himself under tower to maybe force a return kill, he didn't want to go for it there.
Yeah, I was just about to say Blade Surge must have been on cooldown or something like that, because that was looking like it was supposed to be a much longer play than it ended up being. But it does give him priority in the lane, does give him a little bit more pressure. He was pushed in pretty hard for the first few moments there, so maybe he's just trying to get a little prowess in the lane. That is, when you're in a wrestling match, you can't give Cho face too badly. But actually, another nice trade coming out of KTA. KTA does have Ignite. He goes on to him. I smell a pig instantly there, but a taunt, belly flash into the top lane, return kill. Both junglers picking up their first kills pretty easily. Root hits on to Cheesecake, who was eaten up by Yay. That's a very, very long cooldown with not a lot of trade coming back in, and actually not a big commitment from the bot lane of Carmody and Backpack with a massive cooldown on the Devourer. What did that end up being, though? 1 kill top lane, 1 kill mid lane for both junglers?
Yeah, both junglers going to pick up the kills there, and it's definitely important that Maverick get ahead of Virtual Trap here, as he's able to put down a lot of harass on this kind of just a very, very aggressive top laner who looks to poke you out and really force you out of lane. So Maverick getting that early pair of assists, putting a lot of gold in his pocket, will get him the items to really get to a point where he doesn't have to constantly worry.
Well, who needs items when you can just instantly stun Cheesecake? The pickup actually was back off cooldown, but the heal and a flash forward shot from Carmody. Nice kill without the Devourer down for the second time. There was nothing that Yay could do here. He might get engaged on, actually. He's rooted up. The stun is ready to hit. Gray health and a knockback. Gray health finally popped. Force shot there, but not enough just yet. Where's the reload from Carmody? He doesn't get it. Unfortunately, Yay was able to make it out for him, but there is something that I want to point out. There is an amplifying tome sitting in Bestron's backpack.
Yeah, he's going for the Runic Echoes. Like I said, it's definitely not an uncommon move for you to look at that in the Gragas, to go for the Runic Echoes as your, it helps with your initial play.
Well, when he gets the Predator onto the top lane with an easy taunt and gets the 3rd kill of the game, you might as well go Runic Echoes.
Yeah, he's really looking to set himself up for a lot of early damage, and right there, I mean, you have the, especially when you're looking to gank top lane this many times, Shen not really having a ton of damage burst in his kit after following up taunt, but if you can follow the Shen taunt with the AP body slam and you just set up the rest of your combo like that, then it's very easy for Gragas to do that. You really don't even have to build any AP after that. You just go the Runic Echoes into the standard tank build, but the amount of AP you get from the Runic Echoes buffs, all of your skills. You get bonus, I believe, 1 or 2% more max HP damage off the
he's
body.
also mid lane. The Flawless Duet does miss, and a nice ultimate coming out of KTA. Might be able to keep him a little bit. Oh, nice dodge.
Wow.
That was very well played by KTA as the Vanguard's edge does miss. But the Flawless Duet does hit on him as well. Ignite, finally, the Blade Surge to try and kill him. He's going to go down. I think he would have gone down without Stevenator committing for that as a trade kill for KTA.
Constant action from Steven really looking to show that he is not afraid of this KTA Zed. But also definitely showing a very flexible use of this Aurelia. And just as soon as KTA gets to the point where he's poked down with 1 or 2 skills, Stevenator with such a nice knowledge of Aurelia to know exactly when he's able to turn up the aggression and put himself all the way forward or just get a quick trade and get himself back out of there.
Yeah, KTA has maybe played Zed before.
Once or twice.
We're going to have to see if he is able to extend this 1 kill, though, any further. Bestron is chilling around, and a huge headbutt pulverize onto the bot lane. Not enough to kill Cheesecake just yet, as I Smell a Pig is coming in. Here comes Stand United taunt onto I Smell a Pig, and a 4th shot from Carmody. He's not actually enough to pick it up, as Maverick gets the kill, and a double kill from Maverick with a great Stand United to put him at 2-0-3 and a TP top to save the top lane. That is a global champion if I have ever seen one.
Heading to the bot, heading to the top.
And he actually gets a taunt as well, and he almost gets the kill. He does a flash. He flashes onto him. He gets 1 auto attack. He gets a 2nd auto attack. He has up 3-0-3 in the Shen in 8 minutes. Who needs damage when you can just go tank, tank, tank?
Yeah, he definitely found a clutch taunt onto Virtual Trap there, as well as getting a tower shot after the taunt since it forced him to auto attack him once. Ooh.
Shadow Swap does go off pretty easily. Deathmark with a actually simple kill there, but Bestron wants to turn it around. He dashes forward. He gets the blue smite off flash headbutt from a backpack, and an easy shutdown for Bestron. 4-0 on this carry-esque, tank-esque jungler coming out of Bestron.
Yeah, this is definitely the grand scenario that Schism wants to put in. You see it as the direct opposite of the last game that we saw Red Dusk. You saw Red Dusk build up their forces, and they got can't talk to myself right now. They got the lead in the first game that put themselves ahead with their damage threats and said, you have to be on your back heel and watch out for our damage coming at you because you can't answer it until, Stevenator got to the crazy point of Swain. But the point we're at now with Schism is you have this incredibly bulky Shen and this incredibly bulky Gragas who also put out a completely ridiculous amount of damage on their own rights. And now you just have, Maverick diving in without much fear at all.
Yeah, Maverick's 2v1ing pretty easily, 2 levels up against Cheesecake and I don't think he has a lot of kill potential, but he's fine to just kind of hang in this bot lane as the rotation did come out from Carmody and Backpack. They were able to get that first brick back in the bot lane after that nice dive, for the 4-man dive, I believe, actually. So they're going to see if they can get a little bit more pressure here, but a flash onto head taunt, on to Flawless Delete, onto Backpack getting a kill. Well, Stevenator is still struggling to get that 2nd kill, but he has picked up 3 assists for the time being, and they might be trying to get on to KTA as well, but he does sniff out the potential play. Flawless Duet does not hit. Stevenator is still looking for that 2nd kill as a taunt does land on Cheesecake. Wow, that's a lot of damage from supposedly a tank. Maverick is just 1v1ing Cheesecake because Yeye had to go save KTA from potential 2v1. But Maverick, he's just chilling right now against the supposed carry of Virtual Trap, who has really kind of been nowhere this game.
Yeah, it's It's definitely been a lot of investor in. Definitely.
Oh, and there's another taunt
no.
onto Cheesecake. He has to let the feathers fly just to get out of there. Maverick takes up, wow, like 3 tower shots without really caring already. Ninja Tabis are a good item, even after being nerfed. But that does probably give the Dragon control over to the side of Schism. Again, it's a Mountain Drake first. Again, something very, very valuable. They're able to pick it up pretty easily. Last time they came up with 2 of them, right?
They had 2 Mountain Drakes early.
Got a little bit scary as soon as they got into the base, and they're actually 5-man mid. They either want to pick this up or go for Rift Herald. That's a pretty high health tower to be 5-manning at 11 minutes into the game. And I smell a pig might be smelling something out, but a root does hit, a stun does hit. Yay with the save onto Cheesecake, and a re-engage comes out. The death note, not death note, the slicing maelstrom hits on to so many people, but Virtual Trap does not finish off the fight just yet. A shutdown for KTA does go off, 3 for the side of 2, but the play is not over just yet. Looks like Backpack is going to have to be the sacrificial cow. Beef is for dinner tonight. KTA says thank you very much as he picks up his 3rd kill of the game with only 1 item completed. 11 minutes into the game. That was explosive, to say the least.
Yeah, this
Flash forward onto Maverick. Maverick might be able to get out. He does not. A 4th kill, an extended quadra for KTA.
So, I think KTA has played Zed perhaps once. Oh no.
Oh. Nice body block from the side of Yay. Easily to keep KTA alive. They might have burned KTA's flash. No. The flash was onto Maverick. My apologies.
I lost my train of thought there because I had a lot that I was thinking, and then all of it got taken away by KTA hitting the button.
They tower dove at level 11 or 11 minutes in the game, and they all died.
Yeah, they did not. It was important. You see it happen so often, and I mean, I think this is the 3rd game Virtual Trap has played Kennen, and it happens. So Red Dusk gets behind at some point, and then some team fight breaks out at a not too opportune point for one team, and Virtual Trap just appears, and his flank absolutely turns the tables on the fight. And you saw the camera kind of had me in a weird spot, but you saw Virtual Trap just absolutely flank into that fight and devastate the back of SKZ off of that Kennen ultimate.
Whoa, that's a big headbutt pulverize onto 4 members, but it might be too much damage coming out of Cheesecake. He picks up the kill onto Bester, and Steven Ayers kind of left out to dry. Yay picks up another kill, and I smell the pigs trying to finish off. Looks like Harmony 4-0 for the side of RDE. Schism had a nice play on the Rift Herald, but they've given up 9 kills in the past 3 minutes.
Yeah, this is definitely Red Dust showing that they have. I don't know what to tell you because this is what we were looking for, and I mean, with our man sitting here with 11 out of 12 kill participation, KDA is absolutely putting on a show with the Zed, and it's not to say that the rest of the RDE crew. I mean, you saw Cheesecake on the side of that fight, even after Backpack found the very nice Alistair, engage, that they were able to both disengage and put all of their damage out on the board, and say even if Schism is entering with their tanks, RDE is able to sort of move around with their damage and really stick it to Schism to the point where they really can't commit to the fight on their terms. And RDE just kind of shifted it back in their favor.
Well, there's been a lot of kills for the side of RDA, but not a lot of objectives. They're down a tower, they're down a Rift Herald, they're down a Mountain Drake. So we're going to need to see them start continuing to play a little bit after they get these kills and kind of converting on some objectives, because kills are great, but until you start knocking down the Nexus, they can only mean so much, as the Rift Herald is still on the side of Bester, and he's got about halfway through the timer. Not sure if they want to just group mid here just yet. A lot of grouping from both teams really, really early into this game. I mean, we're only 15 minutes in, and they've been grouped for already 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's really just constant fights right now, which honestly favors at this moment. Favors RDE, I believe. They definitely have a lot more power invested in the Zed, who, has the ability to pick off these not too strong targets. I mean, he's getting to the point where he can really pick off the Aurelia. as well as, the Jhin. So it's definitely a good point of contention for RD to find one of these fights where they can find, a great Kennen ultimate, and because it's mostly been on the back of Backpack to...
Well, with that Slicing Maelstrom from Virtual Trap, there's literally, I say but there's literally no magic resist from the triple tanks, 2.5 tanks, I guess you will, from Schism. So even without a 5-man massive ultimate from Virtual Trap, the damage he's just going to output onto the entirety of the team of Schism is going to be really, really scary, especially without KTA ready to open up on them. They're focusing heavily into the armor on, well, literally 4 out of 5 members.
Right.
I have to see if that opens up a potential for Virtual Trap to kind of take over in the mid to late game. The next dragon is going to be up in 25 seconds. As I mentioned, not a lot of towers picked up from RDE, as the third one was just about a minute ago picked up for the split push from Maverick. It's not a full ARAM, just like half ARAM.
Maverick, especially on the Titanic Hydra, and sort of the very committed split push build on Shen, which, works out very well for him because you have, of course, the ultimate and the teleport available. So it kind of gives you that constant side threat of them having to deal with the Shen, which, I mean, there are people on the side of RD who are able to deal with that Shen, and Virtual Trap may not be the best right now because Virtual Trap is very important to their, fight.
Standing Eye does hit on to Bestron to keep him alive, and the belly bop is going to knock Smell a Pig away, but the heal should be a massive amount from the ultimate. Unfortunately, Cheesecake did have them all really, really fast. Wow, that was a huge Slicing Maelstrom. Tons of feathers flew, but actually the fight is turning around back for Schism. They haven't died yet. A double kill comes out for Stevenator. A single kill comes out from Carmody. 3 for 0, and Yaya is running for his life. The curtains have been called, but Stevenator flex out the kill from Carmody, but Carmody died.
Yeah, KDA found him on the back, and they...
Well, they got a tower and a bunch of kills.
But the Tom Kent ultimate that brought Cheesecake there was not facilitated by KTA being there. KTA has, now 8 of the 13 kills on your team. You really aren't on agency to fight without, Zed. And I mean, he had to run all the way down from mid lane into that fight. He never got to that fight. I mean, you saw an incredible slice of Maelstrom from Virtual Trap. He definitely did his job of getting to that fight. But the problem was after the Maelstrom came through, there was no Zed to pick off people after the stun.
There's actually a fight here. I just want to pick really trying to pick up this dragon. He actually gives it up, though, to the 4-man stack of Skyson. I was just about to say, though, does Virtual Trap have enough ability power for his multi-man ultimates to really get the kills that they need, however?
Well, I mean, not particularly. I don't think that he's looking to be the killer here.
Wow, a taunt onto Yeye might pick him up. He needs to pop the Grey Health. Oh, a huge knockup. Turn this around just a little bit. And there's a Spice Maelstrom onto 4 of them. But where did he go? He disappears into Carmony. Carmony blows him up. KTA returns the kill on to Carmony. And it looks like I Smell a Pig wants to continue it out. Oh, a nice flawless duet from Steve Vader. Keeps him alive. Ends up being a 2 for 1 for the side of Schism. Twice in a row, they've come away with the team fight wins. The previous fight, they got away with at 2 towers, I believe, and a dragon. This time, they're not going to get too much off of it outside of the one team fight. Man, Virtual Trap just disappeared that fight.
Yeah, I think, and I was about to talk about it before the fight broke out, but the problem they're sitting at now is Virtual Trap has fallen behind from those consistent ganks in the top lane to the point where building off of that Proto Belt and not having the Hourglass is really hurting him in these fights because he doesn't have, he does not have the damage to just enter in on Shen, Alistair, Gragas and say, hi, I hit R, you're dead. He doesn't have the damage for that. And you just saw there, you have to use Kennen as sort of the, AoE initiate to lead in for KTA. And that also requires you to be alive. And the problem with that is if you're not on the Hourglass on the Kennen, if you're not, entering these fights, going for the ultimate and then an Hourglass on the Kennen, then you're going to disappear. And you just saw it there. You saw that you can go in on 3 or 4 people on Schism's side, but several of them have a response to just Kennen running in, which is a lot, less threatening than Kennen running in and hourglassing, because then you're at the mercy of having to, escape his ultimate because you can't hurt him. And that's exactly what KTA slides in.
I don't want to harp on Visual Trap. However, he's sitting at 0, 5, and 3 right now, which he was at. There's just 3 assists, of course. He was at 2 assists 10 minutes ago with that failed dive at the tier 1 mid lane from the side of Schism. He's gotten 1 assist in 10 minutes and is currently sitting 3,000 gold behind Maverick, who's 3-1 and 11 right now. As the curtain call is pulled up, goes on to KTA for now. I smell a pig tanking up some of it. The Slicing Maelstrom does go in, but again, it's not enough damage. And it actually is going to be goes for a trap, popping instantly. Schism goes in. The feathers do fly, but that's a double kill for Stevenator all of the sudden. KTA does get a return kill, but he's kind of left out to dry, shut down by the side of Carmony. 1 kill for the side of 3, 1 kill for the side of 4, a triple kill from Stevenator. They're going for the Baron instantly. They have the Mountain Drake, and Virtual Trap's hitting is so many excellent ults, but just not getting the things that he needs from them.
Trap needs a stopwatch. He needs a stasis active to stay alive in these fights. He's finding himself into the backline of the Schism crew, but he's just disappearing. He really can't get himself to the point where he's, ahead of everybody and say, hey, I hit Maelstrom. I've got people stunned here. Please come kill them. And if if they're not immediately there to follow up, he's just going to die. And we've seen it happen now in 3 fights in a row. He absolutely needs at least the stopwatch to, get into the fight, stay alive long enough for KTA to show up and, find the follow-up there. And it's not working out for him right now.
So if the production could quickly switch over to the gold tab, I just feel like we're harping on this, but it's such a contention of this game fight right now that Backpack has more gold than Virtual Trap does right now, who is sitting at the 2nd lowest in the entire game. He's not even a tank. He is an AP carry-based top laner who's getting flashed on by a tank. Headbutt pulverized onto him, not enough to kill him just yet. I smell a pig trying to disengage with KTA returning a little bit of damage, but unfortunately he's so far behind gold that he just can't keep up. And you're right, he didn't even pick up the stopwatch. He went for the armband instead, which at this point that armor really can't be as valuable as the stopwatch can be, can it?
Yeah, it's really...
That being said, though, a 1-4 coming out of the side of Schism easily picks up both the top lane and the mid lane tier 2, expanding this gold lead to about 9,000. Ooh, nice slash away from Yeye. That could have potentially been another kill with a headbutt pulverized from Backpack. But a 9k gold lead's pretty massive 23 minutes into the game. It's not just Virtual Trap who's behind. The entire side of RDE is falling so far behind, except for KTA. He's 10-3. He is the damage on this team. He needs to win a fight right now. As Slice Master goes in, but he's gone instantly. He's gone. Carmody gets a kill. And can Carmody turn it around? Here comes KTA. He tries to finish it off, but Stevenator is so strong now. And Cheesecake doesn't even get his ultimate off before he dies. The curtain call finishes things off. Stevenator might go down. He gets another triple kill as the top lane inhibitor goes down. Oh no, Stevenator does get shut down by the tower, but that's an ace. That is the game over for Schism 2-0, only 24 minutes into the game. Wow, that was explosive.
Yeah, that is the set that I believe Schism was looking for. And we talked about it. We talked about, Stevenator being able to, put on these performances, and it really, I don't know, it was really unfortunate that we saw, you saw things go the way they did for Virtual Trap on this Kennen as he came in, because the pick itself was very good, and you saw it for the very first time. You saw him flank in with that Maelstrom and absolutely rip through the Schism crew and deal so much damage that it was, it was hard for Schism at first to deal with that. But once they got to the point where, they could answer the initial ticks, and very nicely done on Bestfriend's part, put Virtual Trap in a hole against Maverick very early, so he had those early deaths, got him behind enough so he wasn't really able to build a surmounting amount of AP, and really roughed him up to get into those, fights, those skirmishes, and again, those initiates where he did not have the stasis active, to, not be able to stay alive. So by the time KTA got to the back line to, play off the Kennen ultimate, Kennen was dead. And they immediately were like, okay, there's a Zed ultimate here. Now we have Shet and Gragas Alistair to peel for Jhin, and there's nothing he's going to get to do off of it.
Yeah, I was so scared of Best Friend's AP build Gragas, but you're right. He, from level 3, made sure that Virtual Trap was just not a part of this game. Those ultimates were insane, though. I mean, yeah, I would love to see Virtual Trap on a 7-0 Kennen and just see him kind of run rampant through some team fights, because he had the perfect positioning, the perfect timing. Specifically, that last one was like a 5-man ultimate under a tower, ready to just win the game. But the damage just wasn't there, unfortunately. That being said, we do need to pick an MVP for the RDE Schism matchup. And since you're the color caster, I want to leave it to you.
I really have no difficulty at all putting my money on Steven Nader here. Between the first game on the Swain performance, absolutely, came through with his team, able to, get ahead, pulled ahead in those early fights, even though RDE was, surmounting a lead against them. Coming through with that incredibly clutch play in the bot lane and moving forward, finding so much damage and so much output on that Swain. And even here, as we saw, the back of the Aurelia, while Virtual Trap was trying to create a lot of chaos with KT in the back line, Steven Nader really running through, really removed Cheesecake from even being a factor in the rest of the game. So a lot of it, I'm definitely going to give him the MVP for the series.
Awesome. I would love to give him an interview really quickly, but either way, he is the MVP of that match. Not sure if we're going to be able to get him in. Hopefully we can talk to him next time. That being said, folks, don't turn your browser off, because we do have another matchup coming. It's going to be NFG versus none other than Furious Gents. That being said, unfortunately, since we aren't able to grab Steven Nader, maybe we can chat with his teammate Maverick. How's it going, Maverick? Congratulations on the 2-0.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Well, you're welcome. We did award your teammate, Mr. Steven Nader, with the MVP.
I don't understand, man. He inted. I was carrying him.
What did you end up with? 4 and 20?
I had 4-1 and 20, and I only had 2 deaths the whole entire series. Everyone else inted.
Sounds like a top laner to me. Skyson, you got any questions for him?
What do I want to say, Mav? I think that, I don't know. A lot of it was definitely the proficiency on the Sion and Shen, and another 2 picks you've been very comfortable with throughout most of the series. So a lot of it was doing your job, finding a lot of it. And it's interesting to see, and I know I talked with Laxton, I believe, in the last interview, to kind of get the idea of what the schism sort of, voice comms look like, if there's really just one resounding, voice to who has the ideas and who's going to make the moves here. But it really, from what I was, told, it's a lot more of, people coming together with their own ideas and just saying, hey, we're in the right spot here, we're doing what we need to. And did that really continue forward going through this set?
It kind of worked for a bit, but as soon as bot lane started losing, they stopped shot calling as much, and they left it up to everyone else. But then as soon as they got back into their gold leads and everything, they were able to command us again. But I think everyone they puts their opinion in, the majority rules, and we go for it. And it's not like one person shot calls and then we blame that one person. But nah, it's a whole entire team effort. It's not and it works for us at the end.
I like that kind of style a little bit more, because that makes things a little bit, I guess, more fluid. You can kind of take in issues a little bit easier. I have been a solo shot caller before in tournaments, and it's not very good feeling when you know you mess up.
It's a little stressful,
Yeah.
This, we have everyone it's open and everything. It's not like one person that's getting like all like the pressure on them. That means like that one person's carrying us. Nah, it's like the whole entire team like working together. If one side's like doing not that well, we gotta like talk to them a little bit. We can't be like quiet and let one person shot call.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is keeping your teammates' heads in the game. But since you were able to keep your head in the game so well, and maybe not deserve the MVP, that was a pretty intense Shen game. Do you have any shout-outs you want to say about your team, about your opponents, anything coming up?
I just want to give a shout out to like every single person on my team. Like even the substitutes, like when they're subbed in, they do just as well without me, and they do just as well jungle without me, and without the starting jungler and the support. I just want to shout out like my boy Evolve and Laxon for like managing everything. You know, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Maverick. Congratulations on the win. Maybe MVP next time, especially with some more Shen performances like that. Hope you have a good evening, friend. Make sure for you and everyone watching the stream to stay tuned to our second matchup between Furious Gents and NFG. We're going to kick it to a break, but we'll see you guys in just a little bit.